Our conversation with Democratic Senator Heidi Heitkamp of North Dakota concludes. We sat down with the senator on Tuesday to talk about politics, Savanna's act, pension reform, and more. Let's talk about some of your work in the Senate. You've introduced Savanna's act in honor of Savanna LaFontaine Graywind. She went missing from her Fargo apartment and was murdered, and her newborn was taken. What do you hope to achieve with this legislation?
Well, first off, we are already achieving what I had hoped to achieve, which is awareness. When you tell people that in some parts of this country, in Indian country, women expect 90% of all women are victims of violence, people eyes open up. And when you can say, just even down in Standing Rock, by doing a survey door to door, you can find 25 women who have been murdered or are missing just on that reservation. When you talk to people in Mandan, Hidatsa, and Arikara Nation, and they tell you in the last 20 months, 5 women have been murdered on their reservation. Those are murder rates that are just intolerable in this country, and we need public attention. We need the FBI to take a more aggressive role. We need to know what the problem is, and that's what we hope to accomplish with this bill, but it's just a first step, and we're already accomplishing, I think, the public awareness that we need to accomplish to help solve this problem.
Well, and you are also fighting to protect pensions with the Butch-Lewis Act. What will happen if current laws are not changed?
Well, it's, the thing that everybody needs to understand, because people look at this as, oh, well, it's a bunch of guys who and gals who are beneficiaries who you need to fix this for them. No, that's not just the answer. Yes, we need to fix this, but the pension system in this country is stacked up dominoes. And if the central states goes down, it's going to cause a cascade effect on all the other multi-employer pension system and potentially take out our pension system altogether. This is a crisis, and it's such a crisis that in the omnibus that we just passed, we created a committee that would, in fact, provide for 8 Democrats and 8 Republicans, bicameral, to sit down and begin to solve this problem. I'm grateful that I've been appointed to that committee so I can represent the pensioners here in North Dakota who are being hurt, but the working men and women. You know, this is where I live. These are, people say, why do you care about this? I said, I know what that must feel like.
Finally, gridlock in Washington, D.C. It seems to be getting worse. Politics become a little bit more toxic, as we saw over the last political campaign and now going forward. And even you, Senator, quoted recently as saying Hillary Clinton cannot go away soon enough after she talked about Trump's voters in Indiana, or in India, rather. And there seems to be hateful messages coming from both sides of the aisle. So the question is, why do you want to stay in the arena when so many people are deciding to want to get out of here?
Let me tell you, when I got there, people didn't think we could pass the Farm Bill. We passed a Farm Bill by working across the aisle. People didn't think that we could lift the ban on oil exports. We lifted the ban on oil exports because in no small measure because of the work that I did out of my office. One way that we solve gridlock is we send people back who don't represent a political party, who represent getting the job done, and that's what I think I've done.
Do you feel you got to play both sides a little bit in this state now that we're leaning so Republican?
I only play one side, and that's the people of North Dakota. That's the side I'm on. And, you know, there will be people in the state who disagree with decisions that I've made. We can have a conversation about that. But I think by and large, the one thing people know about me is that I care about this state and I care about them, but I also care about the future of their grandchildren. I also care about that next generation that's going to have to be economically successful in this world, but also can have that quality of life that I grew up with and quality of life that my children grew up in, and the quality of life that I hope we make available to our children and our grandchildren and our great-grandchildren.
All right, well, we wish you the best in the campaign, and thanks for being with us.
Thanks for having me.
You bet.
Thank you.
You bet.
If you missed a part of the interview, you can watch it online at KVRR.com.